Well, folks, let's rewind to 2016. It was a year that would go down in history, not just for the political upheaval, but for the way it unfolded, surprising everyone. Remember that time a reality TV star decided to run for president, and everyone laughed? It seemed like a joke, a publicity stunt, something to boost ratings. Yeah, about that. Turns out, the joke was on us. Because Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed king of deals, managed to pull off the biggest deal of his life, winning the White House. It was a seismic shift in the political landscape, one that no one saw coming. But here's the kicker. It wasn't some grand, sweeping gesture that did it. Nope. It was a series of tiny, calculated moves, like a chess grandmaster playing the long game. Each move was deliberate, each step meticulously planned. Trump's campaign wasn't built on traditional political strategies. It was unconventional, to say the least. He didn't follow the usual playbook. It was a masterclass in understanding the electorate's pulse, exploiting their anxieties, and feeding them bite-sized, easily digestible messages. He tapped into the fears and frustrations of the average voter, using social media as his megaphone. It was about connecting with the average Joe and Jane who felt ignored by the political elite. These were the people who felt left behind by globalization, who felt their voices weren't being heard. It was about making them feel seen, heard, and most importantly, understood. Trump spoke their language, addressed their concerns, and promised to bring change. And you know what? It worked, like a charm. His message resonated, his promises struck a chord, and his unorthodox approach paid off. Because in a world of carefully crafted political sound bites and staged photo ops, authenticity, or at least the appearance of it, can be a powerful weapon. People were tired of the same old political rhetoric, and Trump, with his unfiltered tweets and off-the-cuff remarks, seemed as real as it gets. He broke the mold, shattered expectations, and in doing so, changed the game of politics forever. So, the lesson here? Sometimes it's the small moves, the unexpected strategies that can lead to the biggest victories. In the end, it's not always about playing by the rules, but about understanding the game and playing it better than anyone else. Now, let's peek behind the curtain and dissect the Trump campaign playbook. At the heart of it all was a simple yet effective strategy: target the right people with the right message at the right time. Sounds easy, right? Well, easier said than done. Trump's team understood that in this day and age, mass messaging was out and targeted messaging was in. They knew they couldn't win by appealing to everyone, so they focused on mobilizing their base and swaying undecided voters in key swing states. And boy, did they target. They used data analytics to identify potential voters, understand their concerns, and craft messages that resonated with their deepest fears and aspirations. They created different versions of the same ad, tailored to specific demographics and interests. They even used psychographic profiling to target people based on their personality traits. It was like having a direct line to the electorate's subconscious. Now let's talk about those swing states. You know, the ones that always seem to decide the election. These states are the battlegrounds where every vote can tip the scale. States like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, places where the race is always tight, and every vote counts. These states are often the focus of intense campaigning because their voters can swing either way. Trump knew he couldn't win without them. He understood the critical importance of these states in the electoral map. So, what did he do? He crafted a strategy that was laser-focused on winning over these key voters. He doubled down on his targeted approach. His campaign was relentless in its efforts to connect with voters in these pivotal regions. He held rallies in rural areas, promising to bring back jobs and restore America's lost glory. These promises were tailored to resonate with the specific concerns of these communities. He tapped into the economic anxieties of blue-collar workers who felt left behind by globalization and technological advancements. These workers were looking for someone who understood their plight. He painted himself as the anti-establishment candidate, the outsider who would shake things up and fight for the little guy. This image was carefully cultivated to appeal to voters who were disillusioned with traditional politicians. And you know what? It resonated. His message struck a chord with many voters who felt ignored by the political elite. In these often overlooked communities, Trump's message was like a breath of fresh air. It gave them a sense of being heard and valued. He wasn't offering empty promises or sugarcoating the truth. His straightforward, no-nonsense approach was refreshing to many. He was speaking their language, acknowledging their struggles, and offering them something they desperately craved: hope. This hope was not just about economic revival, but also about reclaiming a sense of pride and purpose. By addressing their concerns directly and passionately, Trump managed to build a loyal base of supporters who felt personally connected to his vision for America. Section 4. Tailored messages, speaking directly to the voter's heart. But it wasn't just about what Trump said, it was about how he said it. His tone, his body language, and his choice of words all played a crucial role in delivering his message effectively. His campaign understood the power of emotion in politics. They recognized that voters are not just swayed by logical arguments, but are deeply influenced by their feelings and personal experiences. They knew that facts and figures alone wouldn't win over voters. Dry statistics and lengthy policy discussions often failed to capture the public's attention or resonate with their daily lives. They needed to connect with them on a deeper level, to tap into their hopes, fears, and aspirations. This meant understanding the core issues that mattered to people and addressing them in a way that felt personal and urgent. So, they crafted messages that were short, sharp, and emotionally charged. These messages were designed to cut through the noise and make a lasting impression on the audience. They used simple language, memorable slogans, and powerful imagery to create a sense of urgency and excitement. The goal was to make the message stick in the minds of voters long after they heard it. They appealed to people's sense of patriotism, their fear of the unknown, and their desire for change. By tapping into these deep-seated emotions, they were able to mobilize a broad base of support. They understood that in the age of social media, attention spans were short, and information overload was real. The challenge was to capture attention quickly and hold it long enough to convey the message. So, they kept their messages concise, impactful, and easily shareable. This approach ensured that their key points could be spread rapidly across various platforms. They turned complex policy issues into bite-sized, digestible soundbites that could be easily understood and shared online. This strategy not only simplified their message, but also made it more accessible to a wider audience. Section 5. Facebook's fingerprint micro-targeting in the digital age. And speaking of social media, let's talk about the elephant in the room: Facebook. Now, we all know Facebook is a powerful tool for connecting with friends and family. But in 2016, it also became a powerful weapon in the political arena. Trump's campaign recognized the platform's potential for micro-targeting voters. They used Facebook's sophisticated advertising platform to target specific demographics with laser-like precision. They created custom audiences based on users' interests, behaviors, and even their offline activities. They showed different ads to different people, depending on their political leanings, their concerns, and even their personality traits. They exploited Facebook's vast data trove to create a personalized campaign experience for each user, feeding them information that confirmed their existing biases and reinforced their support for Trump. Section 6. Pounding the pavement. The power of the ground game. Now, while social media played a crucial role in Trump's victory, it wasn't the only factor. Remember the good old-fashioned ground game? The door-to-door campaigning, the phone banking, the community events? Yeah, that still mattered. Trump's campaign understood that personal connections mattered. They knew that sometimes all it takes to sway a voter is a friendly face, a listening ear, and a genuine conversation. So, they mobilized an army of volunteers to spread their message at the grassroots level. They knocked on doors, made phone calls, and organized rallies in key swing states. They talked to voters about their concerns, listened to their stories, and addressed their questions. They built relationships, earned trust, and persuaded undecided voters one conversation at a time.